Beverage, stop scratching the couch. Beverage.
To come tell all 10 people watching how bad you're being.
I am making a game called Blackfeather. It's going to be a paranormal detective game where you play as a raven detective named Becky Blackfeather, and you're trying to solve the disappearance of a young girl who everybody has mysteriously forgotten after she disappeared, except for her sister. I have been hard at work doing the thing that scares me the absolute most, which is getting started with art. In my infinite wisdom, the first thing that I did was try to model my main character, who is going to wear a trench coat, and also does not have arms. She has wings, and also sort of looks like someone's raven furry OC. Oh, I have a cat friend. Okay, so that was the first try. I'm actually very proud of this. I'm definitely not happy with it, but it came out way better than I thought it would. I at least have the basic ideas of the shapes appearing on the screen, right? You can tell it's a raven head. You can tell it's supposed to be a trench coat. And I even got it running around in game, and when I saw it for the first time actually animated, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty stoked. Okay, I have my microphone. I think I've got it. I think I got it. All right. Oh, that looks good. Woohoo! Oh, I'm so excited. Yo, Becky's flying. Oh my god, that's so cool! Oh, that makes me want to give her the ability to fly in the game now. I was just gonna use flying as a little introductory sequence where she flies and lands at the town, but now it makes me want to actually put flying in the game because I'm seeing it come to life. This is so cool. Okay, the fact that she's running with her arms so much is kind of funny to me. Maybe I should make her default run animation flying for now, because that makes me super excited. I wasn't quite happy with this, and I figured that a lot of this game and a lot of the time that I'm about to spend is going to be modeling different things for the game, so I decided that I would take another crack at it. And of course, I know that once I'm better at 3D modeling, I can come back and I can remake these assets. I really just wanted something that was more indicative of the game and less placeholdery, just so I could start to get a feel for the game. This one looks a little better, and I'm going to be honest, this is not all my work. I downloaded some free assets. The raven head and the wings, notably, are free assets. I think this looked better, but it still looks very odd. Then I learned about this thing in Blender called Shade Smooth, which, if you didn't know what it does, it shades things smoothly instead of tessellating it into these little polygons. Here was my next try. And you can see that I'm using the same head and wing assets, and I just kind of redid the coat. And this time I was so much more okay with it. It still is not where I want it to be, obviously. And I'm definitely not I didn't model any of the details on the coat, so it's just kind of like a single color, and it looks kind of unfinished. But at this point, I think it's enough for me to have something running around in the game that is not a placeholder, and I'm not going to worry about it anymore. The next thing that I did is work on the environment art, because up until now, I've been running around on basically a landscape full of cubes, which is fine. That's good for blocking out scenes and trying to figure out how I want the world to look. But I want it to start feeling like a game because, frankly, it is hard to keep myself motivated when the thing that I'm working on doesn't resemble a game at all. I got rid of the disco texture that was happening with the road when I made it an intersection because the textures were on top of each other on the same layer, and now the road actually looks halfway decent. I put a little stop sign down because I felt like it. Hey, stop. I also learned about generating trees. There's this really cool free program called Tree It that I learned from Prismatica Dev. Thank you, Prismatica Dev. You are single-handedly carrying all of my knowledge about Unreal Engine materials and environment art. So please do not stop making tutorials because they are by far the best tutorials I have found on YouTube, and you deserve so many more subscribers than you have. I made these cute little pine trees. I made about 6 or 7 of them so that the trees that I put down in the landscape don't look just all the same. And I think it actually did a really good job. I also have like color variation in the leaves going on so that some of the trees appear darker, some of the trees appear lighter, giving it that nice natural variation. I also added some grass.
I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's
Grass.
I did realize that if I tile it too thick? Is thickly a word? I'm gonna have to Google that. Yeah, in a way that creates a wide piece of something. It's a piece of my grass texture. That probably doesn't work. If you lay on the grass too thick, then it creates this weird disco party. We can't get rid of the disco party entirely because anytime you layer textures on top of each other, we get a disco party. As you can see with the environment that I have up right now, I did more than just make some trees and make some grass. I also tried some different mood lighting. Instead of using exponential fog in Unreal, I decided to just make a custom material that's just some fog, and this looks so much better to me. It looks a lot simpler, but I think that that's good. I think the art style of the game that I'm going for is a little bit simpler, a little bit more cartoony. Surprise, surprise, it's an indie game. It doesn't look photorealistic, and I think it looks pretty good. I can change the color of this fog if I ever want to, and it really helps the fact that I don't really know what I'm doing with skyboxes if I just have fog. I don't need a skybox. So take that, skyboxes. Andy 1, skyboxes 0. Next, I went on the Unreal Engine Marketplace and I downloaded every single free asset pack that I could find. And then I also went online and I looked for free Creative Commons licensed, free for commercial use Blender objects. And I tried to find as many free asset packs for commercial use as I could possibly find. The next thing I did was follow a YouTube tutorial that I completely did not understand at all for a very complicated post-processing material that gives me this nice black outline and makes things look a little bit toon. You can see the farther away things are, the thicker that it lays on the black outline. So you can look into the woods right here, for example, and you can see all the trees have this thick outline, and it gets thicker the farther back you go. You can see it really good on the road. Looking down, if you look at the road close, then there's not really much of an outline at all, but if you look very far into the distance, then the outline gets thicker. It gives it a nice toon feeling without feeling too cartoonish, but it still gives it a nice amount of levity to the art style. I made these nice outlines for whenever you hover over an item or over an NPC that's interactable, and I think that it looks pretty good. I'm actually really happy with a lot of this stuff. The only thing that I was not super happy with is my main character modeling, but of course I'm not happy with that. I'm a noob at 3D modeling. What did I expect? So that's about what I did. It was a lot of art, and I think I'm really happy with how the game is starting to look. One thing that I found incredibly annoying was that when I exported my main character from Blender, the simulation normals when I try to do clothing simulation in Unreal are just ginormous compared to what the actual model is. I did some Googling about this, and I see many people that have run into this problem, and I don't see a single solution online. Anyways, that's my Devlog 3.